What are we going to start
Yes,
with?
let's start with Hounds of Love,
Oh, right.
which is the feature debut of a young Australian filmmaker called Ben Young.
Is it his feature debut?
First feature. He's done some shorts before, but this is
Wow.
his first feature. Now, it's a kind of, you sort of describe it as fitting into that non-supernatural horror subgenre of terrible things happening in Australia. And there's a few of these, there's a few of these films around. It's what's interesting about that kind of method of filmmaking is that it starts out in the outback with films like Wake and Fright, obviously more recently Wolf Creek, where you have this idea of this terrain that is vast and flat and has this almost kind of lunar remoteness to it, where anything can happen and no one will know.
Yeah.
And what you see recently is younger filmmakers like David Michaud and Justin Kurzel have brought that into the suburbs with films like Animal Kingdom and Snowtown, both of which were based on real-life crime sprees, as is Hounds of Love. Hounds of Love fits very, very cleanly into this sort of new tradition in independent Australian filmmaking. It is also based on a true case, the Moorhouse murders, which took place in Perth in Western Australia, which is where the director grew up. It was a couple who abducted 5 women in 1986 and did all sorts of terrible things. This film is set in December of 1987, and that kind of slight shift towards Christmas allows terrible things to occur while festive music, Carol of the Bells, is playing in the foreground, just to kind of heighten the completely horrific dissonance of this. Most of it takes place within this bungalow, suburban bungalow, in which live John and Evelyn White, who are played by Stephen Curry and Emma Booth. Stephen Curry, I was astounded to hear after seeing this film, is actually a comedian and a comic actor. Normally, this is categorically not a comic role, although there are little comic inflections in it. The relationship between the couple reminded me in some odd ways of Steve Oram and Alice Lowe in Sightseers.
Exactly.
There is a strange kind of, because the film has this idea, these are the couple who are abducting the young women and the girls, and there's a strange sort of folie à deux going on between the two of them, where they have worked out that this awful, awful stuff that they do is how they are going to live their life, and to heck with the wider consequences. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the film starts with this incredible tracking shot that looks like it's frozen in time. It's not quite, where the camera is kind of prowling in ultra slow motion past a netball game that's going on. There's some high school girls playing netball. Basically, like you're sort of walking past a buffet table of potential victims. And of course, this is what the couple are doing. They're sitting in their car, they're waiting to find someone who's going to leave. And we can see by this stage that this is a tradition that they're very much, they know the moves, they know what they want to do and how they're going to do it.
They've got a routine.
Yeah, exactly. And then the film moves forward slightly once we see that routine gone through to its horrific conclusion. We're introduced to a new character called Vicky, who's played by Ashley Cummings, who is the daughter of a divorcing couple. She sneaks out of her mum's house one night and is picked up by the couple. And there's an incredible push and pull to the chemistry. There's no seeming desperation for them to get her into the car.
So calm and cool about it.
Very cool. They sort of let her walk off a little bit. Then they make a little bit more insistence. And you can tell how well rehearsed it is. The film is very, very good on chilling details and chilling domestic details. They have in the back of the car a baby's car seat. And we register this when the car pulls up to the side of the road to ask Vicky if she wants to get in. And she registers it and she thinks, well, how bad can these people be? And of course, what we find out is very, very bad indeed. Now, the film is rated 18 for sustained sexual threat. That's the BBFC's advice on this. And what I will say is that it's very, very good at making the very worst stuff. And this is a very grueling watch. But the worst stuff happens out of the frame or on the edge of the frame. There is no question that you're being offered the possibility of kind of grotesque titillation by what's going on. In fact, some of the framing, when you have this awful, awful attack going on, it kind of happens between 2 doorways. So you have a doorway from the kitchen going through to the hallway, another doorway to the bedroom. That's a kind of taking up maybe a fifth of the screen tops, and the rest of it is just this domestic stillness. And it reinforces the idea this could be happening next door to you. It could be happening round the corner from you. It makes it feel very, very, very grounded in reality. And that's what makes it much, much harder to stomach what's going on, I think. The film is also very carefully attuned to the relationships between the different characters. So you have John, who is the tyrant of his own bungalow, but when he steps outside, he has trouble with more kind of traditional alpha male figures on the estate, and he rubs up with them the wrong way. Evelyn is both an abuser and a killer, but also a victim as well. And Emma Booth plays that incredibly well. And
She's great.
There's moments. Tell me what you said earlier about the phone call scene, which is
So
just
there's a scene where she goes in, she's in a phone box, and she's I don't want to say who she's trying to speak to on the phone because it gives quite a lot away, but within the space of 30 seconds you almost see 5 characters explode out of the screen from this one character. Her performance is incredible. The film is harrowing but brilliant.
Yes, right. Very, very controlled. Stylish, but within those grim parameters. And it has a real kick that sticks with you.
Yeah, well worth seeing. I don't like myself for saying I love it because it's about such a horrible subject matter, but it's a great first film.
Yes.
And the fact it's his debut as well.